Welcome to Magic Hour. I am your host, Paul Chappell, and today we are reviewing Enola Holmes, a movie on Netflix starring Millie Bobby Brown as Enola Holmes. Enola Holmes, in case you don't know, is the younger sister of Sherlock Holmes and Mycroft Holmes. It's based on a series of books by Nancy Springer. And let's get into the plot a little bit. The plot is that Enola Holmes' mother, played by Helena Bonham Carter, has gone missing. And because of that, Mycroft and Sherlock come home and they want to put her in a boarding school. Enola does not want to go to a boarding school. She wants to be unconventionally smart like her bigger brother Sherlock. And she runs away. And she runs away and she starts herself on this adventure to find her mother. And it goes on from there. So, what was the bad? Well, let's go a little bit into the casting. The casting didn't make a lot of sense. If you know anything about Sherlock Holmes does not look like Henry Cavill. He just doesn't. There's nothing GQ about Sherlock Holmes. If I read the books when I was younger, so I never envisioned somebody as good looking or charismatic as Henry Cavill playing Sherlock Holmes. So I had a problem with that. Not only that though, they got Sam Claflin to play Mycroft Holmes. Now, Mycroft Holmes is Sherlock Holmes' older brother. But here's the thing, Sam Claflin is 3 years younger than Henry Cavill, but he's playing a character that's supposed to be 70 years older than Sherlock Holmes. That makes no sense, and is readily apparent in the movie. The other problem with their portrayal of Mycroft, they dumbed him down a little bit to make it convincing when Enola Holmes runs away and she escapes. So yeah, they dumbed him down, and they also dumbed Sherlock Holmes down a little bit to make it more convincing that she was able to come to some investigative clues faster than her older brother. So I had a problem with the characterization of both Sherlock Holmes and Mycroft Holmes. And especially Mycroft, because here's the thing. Mycroft Holmes in the books and the short stories is supposed to be like 10 times smarter than Sherlock Holmes. So it makes no sense for them to characterize Mycroft as this idiot. So that was my first problem. The second problem is that the primary mystery in the movie was not really solved. I mean, the whole point I thought of this movie was for Enola Holmes to find her mother. And yet there's a secondary plot involving a Marquess who's also on the run at the same time as Enola Holmes. Kind of coincidentally, they end up on a train together, and somebody is trying to kill this Marquess. He's like around her age. I think she's 15 or 16 years old. So they're both running from this assassin. They separate once they get off the train to London, and she goes in search of her mother. And then shortly thereafter, she goes to look for this Marquess because she finds some evidence that his life is in jeopardy again. So the movie's really not about her finding her mother, which is one of the biggest problems I had with this movie. As you probably can see, I didn't really enjoy it as much as I thought it was because I love Sherlock Holmes stories. But yeah, they had some major problems with the characterization. Millie Bobby Brown was fine. I had no problem with her. Helena Bonham Carter is always tremendous in whatever roles you put her in. She was just in The Crown last season. She was excellent. So I had no problem with the women in this movie. It was basically the men that they cast as Sherlock and Mycroft. So the biggest problem I have with this movie, the big, the bad, the ugly. This is the ugly part of the movie. And that was the fact that they had her narrate towards the camera. She broke that fourth wall and she was talking to the audience, and I had a really hard time following along with the story when the actor is doing the thing they did on The Office where they stare at the camera. I hate that crap. It's just, I think it's so hacky when they do it. And I just wish they wouldn't do that in any movie. If you're going to narrate it, it's better to have somebody, a secondary narration. Like, I don't know. We got a good example of how to do that, right? With Sherlock Holmes himself, John Watson. Enola Holmes needed a John Watson. She needed a little sidekick to narrate her story instead of narrating herself to the audience, because then the detective stuff would be much more compelling from a second point of view. So that was my biggest problem with it. The only thing good I can say about it is, yes, Millie Bobby Brown and Helena Bonham Carter were perfectly cast. But I feel like this movie was kind of a setup for more movies. So I got the feeling that they didn't solve the primary mystery in the movie because they want to set that up for a future installment. So that's about it. I would give it a 2 overall. I was really bored watching this movie. Even the Sherlock Holmes type detective work she does it was not compelling. Let me tell you this. This is probably the harshest criticism I can give for this movie. I could have solved the primary mystery in the story. There was no reason why give you a little kind of a spoiler here. Sherlock Holmes actually solves the case, but again, they're trying to puff up Enola Holmes. He solves it, but he solves it like several hours after she already does it herself. And I just didn't find that convincing. The Sherlock Holmes I know from the books and the short stories, he would have solved this in 30 minutes tops. Mycroft wouldn't have even had to leave the room to solve this mystery. So yeah, it was that bad. But like I said, Millie Bobby Brown was refreshing, and if they make some more movies, I'm willing to give it another try. But for this movie, I really wasn't feeling it. But yeah, that's about it. That's all I got for today. I'd like to thank my subscribers and encourage you. Hit that subscribe button. Give me a like, a dislike if you disagree with me, whatever. Tell me down in the comments why you agree or disagree. I will answer whatever question you have for me about this movie. And that's about it. That's all I got. Thanks for watching, and I will see you when I see you. I'm out.